Well, it sure was nice to see the bees come back. I never thought I'd say that. The water come off the hill as if it was just released from its frozen tomb of winter. Kind of put me in the mind of fishing. You know, as Mother Nature finally wakes up from her long winter nap, it's kind of nice to be here to help her rub the sleep out of her eyes. Well, I'm going to have to do something with all these solar panels. Guess I'm going to have to make something permanent. Can't have them laying around like that. Might have some help. At least I got some security here. Well, I get a lot of questions about the cabin, and I'm going to try to answer some of those here. I actually have some notes. So, we're going to tackle the big ones, and maybe we'll get to some of the little ones. Some of the big ones, right off the bat, where do you go to the bathroom? Well, maybe I should start by saying that I don't live in my cabin. I do spend weeks at a time here, but I don't stay here permanently. My house is actually within walking distance. I could be there in probably a half an hour if I walked. So that's not that big of a deal. Although, there have been times that nature calls and no one's there to answer. That sounds kind of strange. I mean, the toilet's not there to answer. So, I have what's called a luggable loo. It's a bucket and a lid that snaps down on top of it that is a toilet seat. I put a couple bags inside of it and do my business. Next time I leave, I take it with me. That works in the cabin when it's rainy or cold or the emergency kind of thing. But what about when you're in the woods? Some other questions that I get are about bathing. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm not stuck here, but being here weeks at a time, there are times that I would like to freshen up a little bit. A hot day, or after butchering animals, you end up with blood all over you, or whatever, and you don't feel much like going back to the house, a half an hour walk there, take a shower, a half an hour walk back. So, what I do is I do a dip bath, I guess. I heat up water on the stove, and a bar of soap, and a rag. And that takes care of it. This is actually homemade soap that was given to me, and we're going to go back into doing some more soap videos eventually. Another question I get is, where do I sleep? Well, I have a futon or a day bed. I'm not really sure exactly what it's called, but it is really comfortable. I like a firm mattress, and I guess I'm the only one that likes it because my wife can't stand to sleep on it. It's okay, but it doesn't stay put. It likes to slide down a little bit, and that gets frustrating about every single night that I go to sleep on it if I don't lay it out all the way flat. I usually just leave it in the couch configuration, and I just go with that. Another question I get is about the little wood burner. It's a Cubic Mini Cub model. Cub is the model, Cubic Mini is the company that makes it. Now, you can probably see that there's a lot of wear on this wood burner. It's tarnished and it's beat up. Well, that's because I use it. The chimney is actually 3-inch pellet stove pipe that is double wall. When I bought this from Cubic Mini, they only offered single wall pipe, and I didn't want to take a chance with that. The Coleman stove, everybody wants to talk about the Coleman stove. Everybody is fascinated with it. It didn't cost very much, and I think I got it on sale because the box was kind of crunched up. If I can remember right, I think I got it for less than 20 bucks, probably less than 15 bucks. I've had it for 5 or 6 years, and I've used it quite extensively. It's taken a beating. I've dropped it, and banged around on it. It's been dirty, it's been left out in the weather, and every time I flip the switch it turns on and works fine. It runs on butane canisters and cooks better than over a fire. So everybody wants to know about the solar as well. I get a lot of questions about what's going on with the solar here. As I've mentioned in the past that I've wanted to move the panels. Well, I haven't moved the panels. They're still exactly where they were. Seems like life got in the way and they're still right where they are. Now there are some maintenance things that I do desperately need to do. I need to get them put back up off the ground and put back on the little temporary rack that I made for them. There's 800 watts of Renogy monocrystalline panels, and there's a 100 watt polycrystalline panel that's, I don't even know why it's here. It's actually moved off to the side because where I put the little diesel heater, I had to leave room for the exhaust. Now the diesel heater, that's another thing that I have not given much time to, and I did promise this in a previous video that I would discuss it. Well, I haven't got to that either. More of the life getting in the way thing. Well, the cabin, if I can remember correctly, I have notes here. It's about a 12 by 16. That was a machine shed, and it was just 10 walls external, a whole frame, gravel floor. I decided to build, well, along with my wife, we decided to build a cabin here. It escaped from our everyday rat race thing, and well, this is the fruits of the labor. Now you can see above me there is a television right there that runs on the solar. We're not roughing it here, we're not cavemen. The cabin itself, every bit of material that's put into this cabin I carried out by my hand on my back, or I drug it behind me. Every board that's out here has been hand cut with a hand saw, not a battery saw, a hand powered saw. The old-fashioned antique kind of saw, you know, the old style back and forth elbow grease saw. That's, every bit of this has been cut by that. Every nail has been hand driven by myself. I did cheat a little bit when it come to mounting the door. I wanted to use screws to make it strong and removable if I needed to, so I did use a cordless drill. And the cordless drill battery was charged on the solar that we had out here at the time. A small little setup, and it worked fine for charging batteries. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little update here. And there's a lot of other things that I haven't mentioned, and a lot of things I probably haven't shown you that you want to see. That could be in future videos upcoming. I gotta put the bug screens up. When that happens, that'll be a thing. And there's some roofing material that I need to deal with. The cabin doesn't leak, but I don't think it's very far from it. And there's some big heavy trees that are kind of hanging a little dangerously. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Ring the bell if you want notifications. And as always, have a good one.